Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Fast Intentions podcast. I'm your host, Nathan, alongside my co-host, my father, the man, the myth, the legend, Todd.
Ooh.
Todd, what's up, buddy? How you doing?
Episode 15, my brother.
Tommy Frazier episode.
The Tommy Frazier episode, yes.
We joked about having a name for each one, but I went with it. So
yeah, good.
Oh, you know, next one's going to be the Trevor Lawrence episode.
Oh, I know. We missed that question at trivia. Yeah.
What number did Trevor Lawrence wear?
I put 6, and what'd you put?
Like no, 9? I put 6.
Oh, what'd I have? Like 19 or something?
No. Because I'm like, I think it's 6. And then it was 16. I was like, fuck. Because he said the answer is 16. And I was like, fuck. I thought I had it. Yeah. So how you been? Good?
Yeah, been real good. Are you suffering from football withdrawal yet? Are you missing the NFL game?
No, because Extreme Football League's back. No, I'm joking. I'm not probably going to watch the XFL a whole lot. Even though I'm a St. Louis Battlehawks fan. I don't know about you. They have like 2 Nebraska players on that team. Mm-hmm. It's like Damian Daniels, and I can't think of who the other guy is. Well, it's that Freedom Akamwole, or however you say his name.
Akamaladin.
Is that his last name? I don't know how to say it. Sorry,
I think
Freedom.
There's a Pittsburgh Maulers team, so I'll probably go with them. Is that the XFL or is that the USFL? I know they're both starting up.
I don't think there's a Pittsburgh for
Well, they must be
XFL.
USFL that's starting up again. That's pretty exciting because they have all this original teams coming back, so that'll be fun to watch.
Well, the XFL in 2020 was really fun.
Yeah.
And then COVID screwed it.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's successful this round. But I liked the Battlehawks last time because they had the Mornay personnel. Mm-hmm. That's why I liked them last time.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of a couple games this weekend, so I had to work Saturday and was busy afterwards. But, yeah, I caught a little bit yesterday before the All-Star game. And
you know who the quarterback is for the Battlehawks?
I do not.
It's A.J. McCarron.
Oh, that is it. Okay. I saw they had a last-minute comeback, so
that may be something later.
Oh.
So.
That's called a tease.
Yeah, it's a segue. I'm joking.
All right.
It's not a segue, but I heard you have a surprise for me that I just found out kind of what it was. Now I'm kind of nervous about it.
Ooh.
But we'll start with that before we delve deep into the sports knowledge.
Okay. Yeah.
Is this like blind or is this like?
No, you'll be able to see it.
Okay, well, that's good.
I got a new product that's out, and I thought you and I would taste test it.
It's like it's not the candy canes again, is it?
No.
All right.
I'll have you close your eyes just
for
one little sounder. I won't hand it to you. I'm gonna. You can kind of figure out what it might be when I do this.
It must be a soda.
All right. You can look.
The hell is it?
It's Pepsi Peeps flavored.
Oh, I think I've heard of this.
It's my friend Marty, who owns a little snack shop, advertised he's gotten them. So these are a little smaller size cans, and we're both professing to be on a diet, so I don't think we'll drink them. But
no, I am on a diet.
Yes,
you seem to be lackluster.
Well, thank you.
I'm joking.
It's Pepsi times Peep. It's marshmallow flavored cola. So I figured on 3, we'll each take a sip and give our opinions. What do you think? All right. Cheers.
Okay, hold on. All right, cheers.
Okay.
You couldn't hear that clink, but there was a clink.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Ew, it tastes like a dot. What the hell? It tastes like dots. Doesn't it?
I'm not really getting a lot of marshmallowy flavor.
You can a little bit. It tastes more like gumdrop.
If
you could taste if you could drink gumdrop, that's.
When you leave your soda out a little too long and it starts going a little bit flat, that's kind of the taste I'm getting. Like it's
really, I'm getting like gumdrop.
Maybe I need to shake mine up a little bit more. I know this is scintillating radio.
With podcasting, it's like tough. Can soda be tough? Like it just feels like hard.
I don't know. I get a hint of marshmallow, but I'm not getting a lot of marshmallow. To me, it tastes more like a flat soda. But yeah,
I can kind of feel that too.
If you like Peeps,
you want to.
It comes in a yellow can with the Pepsi logo, and then it's got the Peeps logo, and then it also has a picture of the original yellow Peep on the Pepsi logo.
Yeah, there's a bunch of bunnies on
and then there's bunnies and the actual Peeps kind of imposed in the background.
Do you want to switch sodas and see if you get a different taste?
Yeah, we can try and see if maybe it's just the cans.
Spread our germs around here.
So.
It's like we're kissing.
Cheers again.
He just ignored it.
No, I heard you. Like Tom Brady and his son. No,
that's a good joke there.
Still, I mean, I'm getting maybe a little bit more. It's they say it's a limited edition, but
Well, yours does taste more like flat soda.
yeah. I wouldn't drink it again. I mean, if you like Peeps and you like marshmallow, I maybe give it a try. But
it doesn't taste like a Peep.
I'm gonna pass. It's okay, but nothing I would purchase.
We should make this a new segment.
Well, we can make it a segment if there's something to try, but
it's 2023 limited edition, so that probably won't last. Artificial marshmallow flavored cola.
Well, I have a friend Marty who owns, like I said, his own snack shop, and he's really good about getting a lot of original stuff or hard to find stuff. I mean, he had Pop-Tart. They get Pop-Tarts and they open the box and they sell the packs, so you can just buy 2 Pop-Tarts. And they had peach cobbler, they had apple crisp, they had all these crazy flavors that I didn't even know were out. But I'm still the strawberry, frosted strawberry guy. That was, toasted a little bit and put a little bit of butter on it. That was always my favorite Pop-Tart.
Yeah. I never really toast popcorn. I just ate them, whatever, the way they came out.
Do you like toaster strudels better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the
frosting packet of frosting. Yeah. Definitely.
No, Grace, my sister, was obsessed with Pop-Tarts for a while. Remember, she had all those different flavors, and that kind of went away.
Yeah.
Now she has like 15,000 board games in her house.
Oh, I know.
So
on a scale of 1 to 5, what would you rate Peeps Pepsi?
2.
Yeah,
it wasn't like terrible, but it wasn't like enjoyable. It just you can get like a hint of gumdrop, but like Peeps aren't really gumdrops. It's just a big ball of sugar when you eat it.
I'd probably go 1.5, and that's just to be nice. So,
well, okay, would I drink it again? No, but It wasn't like god awful. It wasn't like Pepsi said Mountain Dew tried to do like a Doritos Mountain Dew or something once, and like people, it was so bad, like the taste test, they never did it again.
Yeah,
because the fuel of gamers is Mountain Dew and Doritos. This is the meme. People eat Mountain Dew and Doritos and play video games. So,
oh, is that true? You play a lot of video games?
Nah, on a good week, I'll have a crap ton of Coke Zero bottles up here.
Well, your cousin likes to play video games and drink Mountain Dew because I'm always buying Mountain Dew to replenish. So, yeah, my niece watches my dog for me during the days, so I always supply her with frozen pizza and Mountain Dew.
Yeah, you play any fun video games lately?
I have not. We talked about maybe firing up the old Tecmo Bowl, but we haven't got around to doing that. But
we may do that.
Yeah,
you can do it for fun, not necessarily add it as audio in the podcast. But
yep, we used to do the Thanksgiving challenge.
We should do that again.
We played Nebraska, Iowa, and we'd always take turns and playing.
Well, the new college football game is going to be coming out eventually, so now we can do it on there.
Well, my problem is I'm just not as is it dexterous, or I don't have the dexterity.
You don't have the hand-eye coordination?
Well, because when I started playing, there was like two buttons and maybe the little plus signal that you moved around. Now they have 4 buttons and the controller, and there's triggers and bumpers, and there's so many things on there.
There's a touchpad now.
Yeah, there's so many extra things on there.
The analyze ourselves of buttons.
I'm just like, when I have to think when I'm playing, and that's just not a good way to play a game. You're supposed to react, and I'm just not react. I don't react fast enough. But
I'm playing the new. Well, it's not a new Star Wars game, but I'm playing a Star Wars game right now. I like to play games where I just run in and kill everything. Well, this one is making me have to sit back and block and parry and do stuff. So I'm getting better at it.
Well, I know
the new Star Wars game coming out.
A couple years ago, Red Dead Redemption was the big game that was out. A lot of my friends who were gamers were playing.
Red Dead 2?
Yeah, I think it was. They were all talking about it, but
I still haven't played it.
I'm kind of out on video games.
I own it on like 3 consoles, and I haven't played it.
My the video game I've been playing lately was the Revolutionary War one, which Assassin's Creed Revolutionary.
Which is like 10 years old now.
Yeah, that was I'm a big Revolutionary War fan buff, as I've mentioned, in the podcast when we talked about our Boston and New York trips, and so to actually go and kind of play that simulated, that was really fun for me to play that. So, yeah. But hey, we're not here to talk about video games. We're here to talk about real games.
Well, we could talk about video games.
We could. We'll recap the Super Bowl. That'll be a big part of our theme of this episode.
Do we want to save that for last?
But yeah, we'll get to that. We'll start last night. We'll start with the NBA last night.
Oh, hold on. And before we go into that,
yes,
We got to do it on my eyebrow razor.
Oh, that's right. You want to do it at this part of the show.
Yeah, we got to do it at the beginning. We got to talk about the best thing I've seen. Or the most interesting thing I've seen first.
Oh.
It's a good intro segment.
Well, I don't have an eyebrow razor, but you wanting to do the eyebrow razor segment now is my eyebrow razor.
Aye. Well, I don't know how we intro this segment, but
With the
tell us,
Rock.
Pie eating, trailblazing, eyebrow raising.
I was trying to do it. I was going to say Dwayne.
He was out introducing all the XFL games because he's the owner of the XFL now. So he was out doing a bunch of intros this weekend for the games. So carry on.
Okay. So mine is, you're actually kind of going into the NBA All-Star game. Or you're talking about the All-Star weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And so this has to do with it.
Okay.
The guy who won the dunk contest.
Max McClung.
Yeah, Max McClung.
He's in there on a 10-day contract, and he'd only been there like 2 days. And then they're like, "Hey, let's go put you in the dunk contest," and then he wins it.
Yes. So he was on the 76ers G League team.
The G League, that's what it was.
He was on a G League contract, and now he's on a 2-way contract now, which means he can go in between them, so they can like call him up to go to the NBA and then like send him back down. So he'd only been on that for like 2 days. Well, he was in the dunk contest, and you know how much money he got for winning the dunk contest?
I do not.
$100,000.
Woo!
$100,000 for winning.
Nice.
And so far through his career, through the G League and stuff, he only made $106,000. So I don't know how long he's been in the G League. I think he's like 21. I think he's still really young. Mm-hmm. But anyways, he pretty much doubled his career earnings on Saturday.
Well, good for him.
So by winning the dunk contest with some good dunks, 3 out of 4 dunks were 50s.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe that's why he put so much emphasis on performing and putting out good dunks and creative dunks.
Yeah, he did like a 540 for his last one.
Because I know they've been trying to get Ja Morant out there, and he says, "I'm never going to do it." And then Stephen A. Smith this morning on ESPN was railing on LeBron for never doing it, and he said all the big names of the past have all done it at one time or another.
He said LeBron's the reason why the dunk contest sucks, and I go, well, I don't get that. Just because LeBron didn't want to do it, who cares? But no, pretty much people don't want to go out there and do it, risk injuring themselves or.
Well, it's got to be hard to come up with something new. I mean, there's only so many dunks you can do, but this Max kid came out, went off the backboard, then dunked, jumped over a couple people, double pumped and spun, and yeah, he real creative. I mean, even Dominique and Dr. J were real impressed with him, and 2 of the best dunkers ever.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was my eyebrow razor.
That he made $100,000?
No, that he doubled his career earnings by doing the dunk contest.
Okay.
There you go.
All right.
Wow, look at me coming up with a segment you don't. That's crazy.
I know,
mostly.
Right? Well, since we were on the NBA, what was your impressions of the NBA All-Star Weekend? The dunk contest and the 3-point shooting and rookies game that preceded the big event yesterday?
Well, I worked all Saturday, so I didn't really watch it.
Okay.
That's
the theme of the show.
Well, I went back and watched the dunk contest and the 3-point contest.
Okay.
Damian Lillard won the 3-point contest, which was kind of the easy pick. So you're like, well, I don't really want to pick Dame because that's easy. But of course, he won the damn thing.
He came back because he said he wanted to win it. That was a goal of his, was to win the 3-point contest. So.
I think Steph Curry's won it like 3 times.
Yeah.
And so Dame's definitely the second best shooter in the league.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, good performance by him. Poor Kevin Huerter. He's a good shooter for the Kings, but he only made like 8 points. Poor guy. Everything kept bouncing out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Tatum was in it too, so I kind of want Tatum to win, being a Celtic. But
well, he did all right.
Well, he did all right,
night.
But his thing was, last night.
We're recording on President's Day, by the way. So
yeah,
happy
night.
President's Day to everybody.
This will probably go up on President's Day if I'm not lazy. We'll see how it goes.
How do you celebrate President's Day? Did you go to Lincoln, Nebraska, or did you go to Washington County, or
nope?
Did you drive the Kennedy Freeway? Anything like that?
No, I don't.
Gerald Ford's birthplace?
I don't celebrate President's Day.
Oh, okay.
You just like it because you get a day off. I'm lucky. This is my day off normally, so it doesn't matter to me. But anyways, Tatum, he did all right. But the thing is, he had his money ball in the first rack in the left corner, and he made like 1 or none. And then by the end of it, he went to the other corner, and he made like all 5. Nice. Like, you should just put your damn money ball over there.
Yeah.
You could have got like 25 points, which I still don't think was enough to make the finals. But anyways. But yes, he did end up winning the All-Star Game MVP. Mm-hmm. So that was actually one of my nuggets, but we're talking about it now.
What did he do? He set the record for most points scored in an NBA All-Star game.
Yep, I was getting there. 55 points.
Mm-hmm. The previous record was 49? I read?
53 by Anthony Davis.
Oh, Anthony Davis? Okay.
So
Oh, no, he said, I think he said in an interview he was at 49 after like the third period. He was saying he didn't even know what the record was. And somebody said, hey, the record's like 53. You got a shot at that. He's like, oh, okay.
no, it's funny because his coach for the All-Star game was his head coach, Joe Mazzulla.
Mhm.
Which, by the way, is not the interim coach anymore. He's the head coach.
I
Shout
saw
out to
that.
Joe Mazzulla.
Yeah.
I didn't even have that written down. But
Is he from Montana? Missoula, Montana?
no, I don't know if he's from West Virginia, but he played for West Virginia when he was in college.
Okay.
So maybe near there. But no, so it was funny because people always talk about Tatum's usage in the league. He always plays like the most minutes, and that his head coach just kept him out there pretty much the whole second half to play. And as a Celtics fan, those are great, like 2 minutes with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum with 1v1ing for like 2 minutes. That was fun. I was like crying inside a little bit because they were so cute out there. But yeah, so he won. The All-Star game was pretty boring. There's no defense, but I didn't expect much. Giannis came in, dunked the ball, and left because he had a wrist injury.
Yeah.
And then LeBron hit his hand on the rim on like a block, and so he didn't play the second half. So, and then Steph Curry wasn't there. He's usually fun with 3-point shots, but
Yeah, there were several players that were missing. Him, Durant, and
yeah,
somebody else.
Durant's missed it for like the last 3 years.
There's somebody else that was missing because they talked about him in the intro.
Zion,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
but Zion's always missing now. Poor Zion. But Donovan Mitchell and Jason Tatum had a lot of good 3-point shooting deep, so that was fun.
Did you enjoy the drafting of the teams right before the game?
I like the idea, but when they pitched it was like they're going to be on the court doing it, like
Mhm.
like just all in a huddle.
Mhm.
But of course they
Made a big deal
dramatized
about
it,
it, yeah.
and then they had Post Malone have a concert,
Mhm.
and then they had to do the national anthem, so it just dragged on.
Well, plus you kind of knew that these guys were going to pick certain guys, just because like you knew LeBron was going to take Kyrie, and you knew Giannis would take Holiday, even though he took Lillard first pick, which kind of
The surprise
everything
LeBron,
off.
because LeBron always takes Damian Lillard
yeah.
right away.
But he knew LeBron wasn't going to take Holiday, so he'd still be able to come back and get Holiday.
They did the starters and
Last, they
took-
did the reserves and then the starters
because they didn't want the last pick. But we all know
Yeah.
Jaren Jackson Jr. would have been last if they did
Yes,
the starters
yes.
first, which doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
No offense to Jaren Jackson Jr. He'll probably be Defensive Player of the Year. But what was I saying? Oh, LeBron took Embiid as his first starter pick.
Mm-hmm.
And so LeBron goes, Giannis said, well, I need a center. But then he kept waiting.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually LeBron goes, well, I'll just take Jokic. And we're like, fucking Giannis, you're an idiot. You should have just taken Jokic when you had the chance. Because he got Tatum, then he got John Morant. Then he took Donovan Mitchell.
I think Giannis's MO was to get more athletic guys and scorers from like shooters, because LeBron had a big tall team, but since there's no defense, I mean, what's it have having big defenders or shot blockers in the paint if they're not really trying to block anything or defend the paint?
Yeah. Well,
because John Morant, great athlete, but he was in there amongst the trees, going in there dunking, and what have you, with those guys standing around him.
Well, it depends too on who's like, because Jokic always says he doesn't know what to do during the All-Star game because he's
Mhm.
just a good fundamental basketball player, passing and shooting,
Mm-hmm.
but he's not like flashy or anything.
Yeah.
So he's not going to go and do all these weird dunks and like crazy stuff. Because there was like 3 times Kyrie threw it up for Jokic and he didn't like go up to get it at all. And Kyrie's just like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And so, or Luka's like, I don't know what I'm doing. And so they had him mic'd up, and there was a clip of him talking to LeBron. He goes, I don't know why they want to talk to me. I don't do anything. So it's kind of funny. So it just depends on who. LeBron's a guy that'll go up and dunk and do all the flashy stuff.
Yeah, he threw the ball off the backboard to himself.
And then Tatum did it back.
Yeah.
So it just depends on who's kind of wants to go out there.
Mm-hmm.
Like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's out there. He was just throwing balls to people. He didn't really care what was going on. So just depends on who's flashy.
Yeah.
So people kind of complain the All-Star Game's not competitive. But they even said, Luka's like, well, I don't want to go in and hurt anyone or do anything. They're not going to play hard.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why the charity thing was supposed to fix that, but they still don't really.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Mhm.
Fuck the kids. So, but I don't think they say that.
Okay. That's
But anyways, I didn't watch the Rising Stars game. I don't know.
Yeah, I missed that too. But
I did watch the celebrity game though.
who was in that?
That was entertaining.
I think I saw the Miz was in that.
The Miz made like a half court shot with the buzzer going off, and it would have tied it, but he shot it too late. But he was like, oh.
Well, they had a tweet of his introduction, coming out all WWE
They had,
style.
Guillermo from Jimmy Kimmel. Yeah, he was there.
Oh,
The
really?
little round guy.
Yeah.
He was funny because you can kind of see him like watering around, and he shot a ball and it like wedged between the side, like the rim and the backboard, and it stuck right in the middle. And so he like put his hands up, And then he was handing out pizza to everyone on the bench. And he went over to Shaq and tried to give him pizza, and Shaq said, I can only eat Papa John's. I can't eat that because he has the big sponsor with him.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of funny. Shaq goes, it's not Papa John's. I don't want it.
Well, I did notice during the introductions where Ernie Johnson was out there talking to LeBron and Giannis that you could hear the sound from Chuck and Kenny and
They forgot
Shaq.
to turn off their microphones.
And you could hear him kind of. I think they cussed a couple times, but they were talking about certain things.
What sounds like them?
The order of how the events were going to go. And I'm like, is that supposed to be on there? It took me a little while to
No, it did.
kind of figure it out. And I said, oh, no.
Well, they're supposed to give commentary, I think, as they picked, because they're like, oh, we only got 10 seconds, blah, blah, blah. And they were just, it's just Charles, Shaq, and Kenny, they're never going to follow the rules. But then they were talking did you watch it where they were talking to him?
Mm-hmm.
And Charles Barkley, I think, like, the feedback of the mic through the arena was late, so he didn't know how to talk. And Shaq goes, "Well, are you drunk or something?" It was really funny.
Yeah, he
and
said
Charles was like, "There's something wrong with my mic."
And Shaq goes, "Charles Barkley sponsored by Patron," and then Kenny goes, "This is a dry state." So that was kind of funny. But yeah,
or I'm thinking who else is in the celebrity game? Albert Pujols was in it. 21 Savage was in it. Calvin Johnson and DK Metcalf were in it. They had a lot of people. I know a lot.
Any ladies?
They had a double WNBA player for each team. I wasn't familiar with who they were.
Okay.
I think there was some like TikTok girl or something on there. I didn't know who she was.
Who was the surprise celebrity that was really good that you didn't realize was?
But DK Metcalf won the MVP, which I don't know. I didn't watch a whole lot of it. I watched like the beginning of it because then baseball was on.
Well, sometimes there's a rapper or somebody who just comes out and is actually a pretty good baller. You just didn't realize that they were, and they make 3-pointers and makes some good dribbling moves and.
But J. Cole I think J. Cole was in it 1 year. He's actually like a basketball player. He played overseas for a little bit, but no, I don't think it was like the Peloton like owner guy. He was the MVP last year, and so he was there again. But no, I didn't watch it a whole lot. I don't. Oh yeah, I just said DK Metcalf one, but yeah, I wasn't too looking at it. So it was just fun.
Any other final thoughts on the NBA weekend?
No, not really. That was going to be my nugget. Just talk about it a little bit, but
okay, we
got it out now.
Yeah,
and then in actual NBA news, Kevin Love. Remember when I was pissed about an hour ago when I said I couldn't think of what I was looking up? I figured it out by just saying Kevin Love's name. Oh. So I'm going to put that as a nugget. But no, Kevin Love is signing with the Heat after getting bought up by the Cleveland Cavaliers. So the Heat didn't do much at all at the trade deadline. So
maybe that's why they knew Kevin Love was coming.
Oh, yeah. That's really going to make a big difference for them in the East. But no, Kevin Love gets a chance to go play in Miami with all the old people.
And I did see something that posted about 3 hours ago, and they're reporting that Russell Westbrook got out by the Utah Jazz, and looks like he's going to be signed with the Clippers.
Yeah, which we all thought because they kind of got rid of all their guards,
so
we thought that'd be the place for him. So we'll see how that turns out.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. If I had to guess, I assume he'll be coming off the bench for the Clippers because I don't see him on the court with Paul George and Nathan's writing feverishly.
I'm writing
with the starters because of the game he has. You don't want him taking away from them and their opportunities on the court. So,
well, in fairness, I think he'll better fit than LeBron.
Because
LeBron relies on driving. Paul George and Kawhi don't necessarily, but we'll see how they.
Yeah, I think he'll be good and help. Give the second team, guys off the bench, a boost. So.
But the thing about the Clippers is they're super deep with good players, so I think he can fit in and help facilitate a lot.
Definitely.
So I think he'll be fine. Not like you say, it could be off the bench, could be starting.
Okay.
But is it like a game changer? No, but it's a good signing, I think.
Yeah. And
then before we go to the Super Bowl, I just want to talk about the baseball rules real quick. Unless you had something else.
I don't have anything in baseball or basketball left.
Just football? Well, let me get the MLB stuff out of the way then, and then we can go to the football stuff.
The floor is yours, as they say.
Not a whole lot of stuff. So, the first one is I know you're not a fan of, but the Ghost Runner rule.
That's a kid's softball rule.
So, if you didn't know, the Ghost Runner rule, one extra start, the guy who made the last out
that kind of ghost?
Yeah.
Oh.
So the guy who made the last out of the last inning starts on second base so that they can kind of get the game going. So the MLB Players Association and the MLB voted unanimously to keep it indefinitely. So we're going to have that rule for a while. But Which is actually I hated it at first, but I don't mind it as much now because a lot of times it's just they get a base hit and the guy scores, and so it didn't really matter anyways. But it's dumb that they only do it for the regular season, not the postseason. So if they don't think it's a good enough rule for the postseason, why would they even implement it in the regular season? So it's just I think it kind of just defeats the purpose of the Ghost Runner. It's like, oh, well, we want games to go fast, but playoffs, well, that's real baseball, so we have to not have it there.
Well, I do wonder how the stolen base rule will affect that, coming into play, because you can only throw over so many times in an inning and what have you. So, I mean.
I don't know about the Ghost Runner rule, but the pitch clock thing, I still don't get how you can only pick off 2 times, and we need you to throw so fast. So the runners can easily just time up stolen bases, which I think is what they want. They said stolen bases went up like 80-something% in like the minors because of the rule.
I have a feeling you're going to see a lot of people trying to steal third in these overtime, these overtime rules.
Well, that's
extra
true,
inning rules, I guess I should say.
I guess that makes sense. I didn't get what you were trying to say there.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, so we'll have to see how that goes out. But I'm not against the pitch clock necessarily. I mean, you don't want to time people, but there are times with pitchers like who's sitting there, they'll look over, step off, look over, step off. It's like, come on, dude, throw the fucking ball. Well, we got all day.
It doesn't bother me, that's how baseball's been played since I started watching it. So I'm fine with it. But it's just, these sports are trying to attract younger viewers, and these kids' attention spans just aren't as long as, they used to be. And so you got to hook them into something, and, usually action sells. They don't want to just watch somebody standing there on the pitch, like you said, pitching mound and looking around and checking runners, whatever they want to see.
I do
the
to an
ball
extent.
Pitched and ball hit.
Well, I don't mind it to an extent, but sometimes some people are really, really slow. It's like, all right, dude, come on. You don't need to do all that. But
well, they do have certain rules already in place. They just don't enforce them as much as they probably should.
I don't remember what I was going to say now. So, yeah, the pitch clock, we'll see how that goes. They said minor league games were averaging like 2.5 hours with the pitch clock, so I think that's probably a decent time for what they're trying to do. And then they said the minor league pitchers, they didn't really like it at first, but they got used to it pretty quickly and don't mind it. So I think most people that are mad with the bullpen people, like the older bullpen guys who hated the rule, they're like, well, I don't know, I'm going to be able to pitch now because of the clock. Like, you'll figure it out, don't worry. But yeah, timing, you can kind of use that too. People do it now, like they'll do fast windups to like confuse pitchers' timing. You can still do that with the clock. Wait a little bit longer to throw it really
pitch.
early. Yeah. So that still exist. So we'll see how all that goes in baseball. AAA, they're doing robot umps this year.
Yeah, that'll be the big change to see how that goes.
And I also didn't know they did this They said they did this last year too. I didn't know minor leagues, they had like 6-game series now. So like, because I was looking at, we live in Omaha.
I'm trying to cut down travel expenses.
Yeah, we have a AAA team. Yeah, and they play
Storm Chasers.
Yes, and so they have I was like, the Iowa Cubs are playing in Warner Park for 6 days in a row. Oh well, I didn't know they had 6-game series. So
they just started that a couple years ago.
They said it was last year, but I didn't realize it until I looked it up. So yeah, it says they cut travel like by 30 to 50%.
Yeah,
because I think they're owned specifically by Major League Baseball now.
Yeah, well, didn't they get rid of a level of minor league baseball? Isn't it just the 4 levels now? Because they used to have a lot of rookie league teams and this and that, and
I think it's low A, high A, double A, triple A. So yeah, because they used to have like rookie ball and all that stuff. So, and then because they're supposed to be paying for housing and stuff now, right? Is that
I'm not sure. I haven't seen
They have a lot of minor league stuff going on. But shout out to minor league players. They deserve to get paid. They expect to be fodder for the major league teams, but they won't pay them. So I'm glad they're doing that. But they have new position player pitching rules. So normally, like, if teams are getting blown out, they'll throw, like, their backup catcher in and he'll pitch a few innings. But they changed that rule as well. So if you're winning, you need to be up by 10 in the 9th inning to put a position player out there. I think it's like more than 10 in the 9th. Or if you're losing, you need to be down by 9 in the 9th inning. Or at 8 for 9th, I believe, because that would make sense otherwise. You could throw a position player out there. Otherwise, they say you could do it in extra innings. Doesn't matter. So if you're out of pitches and you need someone in extra innings, you can throw a position guy out there. Which kind of sucks because if you follow Cut 4 on Twitter, they have a big thread every year where they do position player pitching and they post like the guy doing like the wave. You have to see it. But All right, well, Dad's looking up stuff in the middle of the show. That's good to know. So they're trying to cut down on. They want people to be competitive through the whole game. Get their guys out there. They don't want just to throw a game away.
Well, if they're going to have this extra inning softball rule, why don't they just say once a team's up by 10 runs, they just end the game?
I don't know. So, yeah, I don't – whatever. I can see both sides of it. It doesn't bother me too much because at least it's even. Oh, you get a ghost runner, we get a ghost runner, whatever. Whatever they think works. And if the players like it, I like it. So.
Well, you said they voted unanimously, so apparently everybody's all for it.
Well, I don't think people don't want to be out until 3 a.m. playing baseball and then having to travel and go play a night game.
Yeah.
So I don't blame the players for not wanting to do it. So, yeah, that's all I have for baseball.
Okay.
The bases are bigger.
Yes.
They showed a photo of it.
Safety base.
Yeah.
SSAAA.
Which I don't know why people hate that rule. If the bases are bigger, it'll be safer for other people.
Safety base.
So.
You can run if you want to.
Damn it, I was going to say that. I was going to say we could play if we want to. Damn it. I hate you. You making jokes during my segment, and I tried to make a joke, and you did it before me. Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go to football.
Super Bowl 57 recap.
Yeah, it was a good game.
Yeah, it was a very good game.
Yeah, I had fun.
A little controversial there at the end, but we'll get to that.
Well, remember how last time we made predictions, I said I don't like to do scores?
Uh-huh.
Well, my friend Joseph was watching. We were all watching it online together because they don't know anything about football, so they kept asking me questions. But he was like, I'm betting on this because I can win a gift card. What should I bet? I was like 34-24 Eagles is what I said. And for a while, it was like 21. The Eagles had like 31. Chiefs had like 24 or something. I was like, ooh, this is looking pretty good. And then went downhill after that. Fourth quarter kind of ruined it.
Well, if you go back to the last podcast and about the 2 hour and 8 minute mark, that's when I gave my prediction, and I did pretty well. So
yeah, it's just a prediction.
Well, okay.
Fucking clock's right twice a day.
Yeah. Well,
it
was weird watching it because this is the most neutral I've ever been watching a game. Usually, when I sit down to watch a game, invariably I end up rooting for a team or somehow. But this, I just wanted to see a good ball game with some good scoring, some good plays, and that's what we got for the most part. So yeah, it was an exciting game.
In fairness to myself too,
okay,
I did say the Eagles are a bad team and should win, but unless some Mahomes magic happens, then that's what happened.
Okay, so you're off the hook then.
Yes.
All
so
right.
I
All right.
There's always the chance, but then you'll
yeah. Well, I'd say the game started off the way both teams kind of hoped. The Eagles came out with a sustained drive, easy for me to say. Used clock, drove all the way down, got a touchdown.
Jalen Hurts hit the gritty.
Yeah, did the gritty. Chiefs came right back and got back down the field, and Mahomes found Kelce for a touchdown, tied it up. And then there was some 3 and outs. Defense stepped up. The Eagles scored, went up 14-7.
The A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
Deep throw.
Yeah. And we'll talk about that more, but it seemed like they kind of went away from the A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, down the field throws later in the game, but we'll talk about that some more. So they got up, they stopped, Chiefs got the ball back, and then Jalen was under a rush from the Chiefs, and he went to switch hands, to protect the ball from the rush, and it just slipped right out of his, hand and fell on the ground, and Nick Bolton picked it up for the Chiefs and ran it back for 45-some yards, tied it up. And so they kind of kept the Chiefs in the game there, even though it seemed like the Eagles had kind of wrestled the momentum back from the Chiefs. But they kind of, righted the ship, went down, scored before halftime, and then going to the locker room, they were up 24-14.
Yeah.
And you thought, well, the Eagles kind of got this. But we talked about Andy Reid and how he'd been there before, and he'd make some adjustments.
Not to mention the big thing was Mahomes' ankle because he was up and screaming in pain on the sideline after the sack.
Good call there. And then when they showed the replay, I think it was the linebacker that got him, and I thought maybe he might have rolled over on his foot, but it looked real innocent. I mean, like he could just kind of caught him on the top of the foot, and then lifted it, and then Mahomes fell forward. I didn't see him like pull on it, twist it, or
I don't think
anything untowards.
But I don't know. Well, he said he was playing in pain anyways.
Well, yeah,
because of the sprain. So I don't know. It was probably just aggravated it falling.
Yeah,
but yeah, it looked like he was in pain. You're like,
Well, some of the faces he was making going off the field, you thought, that don't look good. But
you're like, oh, this could get out of hand.
Yeah. So then after halftime, they came out. The extended halftime, which is adjustments. Usually it's like 13 minutes, and the Super Bowl's like 29, almost a half hour.
Rihanna was. Oh, we got to talk about that too.
We'll get to that. So came back out, and Eagles just it seemed they changed kind of their MO. In the first half, they're doing a lot of RPOs. Jalen Hurts was running the ball quite a bit, and that was keeping the Chiefs off balance. And then when he was throwing, like we said, to A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith down the sideline. And Devonta, he came up kind of limping at one point during the game, so I don't know if he had an injury or how bad that was. But the Chiefs seemed to kind of settle in on defense and kind of stop what Philadelphia wanted to do. They ended up throwing underneath to Goddard a lot, which we talked about. Don't forget about Goddard. A lot of talk about Kelce, but don't forget about Dallas Goedert. And he became a big part of the offensive game plan for the Eagles in the second half. But, the Chiefs just kind of ride the ship. And then to me, their big adjustment was we were talking about it earlier. Like it was kind of like saying switch routes, but it's really not a switch route. Is basically they used the aggressiveness of the Eagles defense against them, where guys would run in motion or start running a pattern, and
the DB would follow.
Yeah, the defense would commit so hard on it they would end up they would do a change of directions, in and out or what have you, and so the Chiefs started using that aggressiveness against the Eagles. They do they'd be running like an in pattern, and then the guy would stop and run back out, get open, and so that was like the big adjustment that the Chiefs made in the second half. And their offensive line held up really well. The Eagles got some pressure on Mahomes a few times, but just never could get home and get a sack on him.
Because he had like a 3rd and 15 he converted, right, with his feet.
Yeah. And they did a real good job of taking Kelce out in the second half. And then Juju kind of became the man of the hour. He threw, several passes to Juju there in the second half. And
tweet about it too. So
they took the lead, finally for the first time in the game. The Eagles came back and scored with about 3-ish minutes left, and the Chiefs got the ball back, and you thought, well, okay, we're going to see. This is going to kind of see what happens here. Drove down the field, and then they had a 3rd and 15 around the 20-ish, between the 20 and 30-ish yard line somewhere, and then that's when the big play of the game happened. They called holding on James Bradbury, and gave the Chiefs an automatic first down and pretty much salted the game away because the Chiefs were already in field goal territory, and the Eagles only had one timeout left, so you knew pretty much the Chiefs were going to be able to bleed the clock the whole way. So the next play, I believe it was, they gave the ball to McKinnon, and he went around the left end. Well, he took a knee at the 1 yard line, to keep the clock running because the Eagles were pretty much going to let him score. You could tell.
It was a smart thing to do.
Yeah, and we'll talk about both those plays here a little bit more extensively in a bit. But anyway, the Eagles held them out of the end zone, and they ended up kicking Butker kicked the field goal with like 8 seconds left. Eagles got the ball back. I thought they had enough time to run like a little sideline pattern for like 10, 15 yards to get them a little bit closer and then do the Hail Mary. Well, they decided to go with the Hail Mary, just the last play. And I don't know what the hell happened. Jalen Hurts did not get it anywhere close all the way down the field. His ball came down around the Chiefs' 30-yard lines. It almost looked like it hit something like above the field or whatever because it just died. I'm like, well, shoot, I don't know what happened to his arm. I don't know if his elbow went out or what. But
well, he did have the shoulder injury too.
Yeah, well,
throwing a Hail Mary probably wasn't in his best interest.
Yeah, but it didn't even get there. I mean, it wasn't even close.
Like 12 yards.
So yeah. The Chiefs ended up winning the Super Bowl, and we can talk about what happened afterwards. The nice moments with you saw all on social media with Kelce's mom going up to find both the boys and celebrate with them, or celebrate with Travis, and then console Jason. But nice moment, and impressions of the game. Like I said, I was real neutral. I mean, I was happy for a good game. I hated to see that penalty happen, and we'll talk about that. What our thoughts and opinions on that a little bit more. But just overall, your thoughts on the game itself.
Yeah. So like I said, I was kind of neutral too. I didn't care, but I picked the Eagles, so I was kind of rooting for the Eagles.
Yeah,
not gonna lie. And plus, Chiefs have 2 Super Bowls. Eagles only have 1, so it makes sense to root for the Eagles. But I thought the Eagles' offense wasn't bad in the second half either, because I think they went down and scored right away. If I remember correctly, it's been a week now.
Yeah.
So That's why I know we talked about doing it after the show, and I said, no, but I don't want to do that. But maybe I should have done that. But no, they went down, scored. They got down in field position. I think that was when because the Chiefs only got like one sack, right? I believe they went.
Yeah.
It was near field goal range where they took that sack.
Well, the
where
sack they got was Jalen Hurts scrambled, and he didn't make it back to the line of scrimmage. He went out of bounds like a yard short of the line of scrimmage.
Oh, so maybe I'm thinking something else.
So they credited the guy with a sack.
But no, because they got down and had to kick the field goal. And then when the Chiefs did take the lead, they went down, scored right away. He got the 2-point conversion. Mm-hmm. So even then, I don't think the Eagles were necessarily the offense was inconsistent in the second half or getting away from things. I thought they played fine. The main thing was just the Eagles. The Eagles couldn't get a pass rush going, really. The offensive line for the Chiefs really held up. Because we talked about the Eagles' offensive line was so much better, but not to say the Chiefs' offensive line was bad. And by no means did they play bad at all on Sunday. They played really well. Especially because we thought the advantage the Eagles, well, at least I thought the advantage the Eagles had, they had a lot more playmakers on defense, especially with the defensive line and their linebackers being able to create pressure. Mm-hmm. And the fact that Kansas City neutralized that definitely helped them. So, all in all, it was a fun game. We could talk about the holding penalty if you want. It was, I mean, I know a lot of people, all Chiefs fans are defending, oh, that's a great call, blah, 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 blah.
Well,
I don't want to make a big deal out of it because is it the correct call? Yes. He definitely held him, but was it like egregious enough that you really wanted the Super Bowl or like a good game to come down to it? Not really. I would have preferred that kind of minimal contact didn't get called just so the Eagles had the chance to go down and score. But, I mean, I can't be mad necessarily at the ref because I think it's the correct call for sure. It's just one of those like minuscule penalties. I thought just the contact enough, it didn't like necessarily hinder Juju's route. So I would have liked him not to call it just so, it's the Super Bowl. You guys got to play. You're going to be physical, of course. So you don't want it to come down to the ref throwing the flag. That's just never fun because you don't want the ref being the deciding factor. But so both ways I see it. At the end of the day, I'll live with it. I would prefer him not to call it, but, I guess you shouldn't hold on the last play of the game. And Juju's going to tweet Valentine's Day jokes at you.
Yeah.
On Twitter.
I agree with your take. Is it a penalty? Yeah. And these guys that are out there on Twitter showing the video of the actual tugging of the shirt. Well, nobody's arguing that the penalty itself is not a penalty. It's a penalty. What people don't want to see is like what you mentioned. Was it egregious enough to make that call at that time? Because you're deciding the Super Bowl. Once you made that call, the Chiefs got the automatic first down. The game's pretty much over. And if you're a Chiefs fan, your opinion doesn't really count because you're biased. Not that. Well, it is. I mean, Chiefs are going to explain it because the way they see it because it helps their team. And the same way with Eagles fans, they're going to explain it the other way because it hurt them. I've seen games where guys have been pretty much mugged and they haven't called it. There was the play early in the game where Juju got grabbed and turned, and they didn't call it. And they said, "Well, see, they missed that call." Well, to me, was that a missed call, or did they just say, "Well, we're letting them play"? Well, that play was more egregious than the one they did call. And so that's the thing. You want consistency. That's all the players ask: consistently in the play calls. And they pretty much let the guys play the whole game. I mean, I think there was only like 5 or 6 penalties the whole game.
Oh, yeah, it wasn't much.
And so to make that call at that point in the game, I didn't like it. Yes, is it the right call? Technically, that's a hold. Yes, it's. But like I said, you're deciding the game. I didn't like it, and my argument for it being a bad call is that's all everybody's talking about now. That's all you see the last week. It's all about the holding call. Was it a play? What penalty? Was it a penalty? Was it not a penalty? I mean, I've seen all kinds of people online, saying whether or not it was a penalty or not. All the bigwigs in the sports world all weighing in. Kurt Warner says it is. So and so doesn't say it. I have all these names written down. I didn't. I don't remember off the top of my head, but it's very an opinion. Everybody, I saw Tony Jennings said, well, when the guy jumps off sides, that's a penalty. So why wouldn't you call that? I go, well, that's like that's apples to oranges. That's, some of these explanations that people come with to justify the call or what have you. I'm just like, come on. But James Bradbury did come out and say, yeah, it was a good call. I got caught and, I was hoping they wouldn't call it. But, after, he's being above board. And it's not going to get changed. It was called, in the game, and that's what happened. So he just came out and, was manned up to it. I mean, after the fact, that's easy to do. I mean, it's nice that he did do that, but then, like you said, Juju kind of went after him online, and that A.J. Brown came back after him. But that's a whole different story that I don't want to delve into. But yeah, it just kind of put a cloud over the whole game itself. And I just didn't like the call. I did. We had Brad on last week, and I did reach out to him, and he did give me his take on what happened, and he said there was a black cloud of a controversial penalty lingering over the game. The penalty with under 2 minutes remaining impacted the game and gave conspiracists more fuel to their crazy fires. And his basic take was James Bradbury admitted to the call. He says, and this was a quote to James Bradbury: "I pulled on the jersey. They called it. I was hoping they would let it ride." And Brad said, Bradbury took the high road. He did hold. So what's the problem? He says, time to move on. So Brad was fine with it. It didn't affect his opinion of the game. But he enjoyed the game. Let's see. He goes, it was a strange experience. And he says it was much harder for him to watch than he thought it would be. He tried to be as neutral as possible, and the only way he could really wrap his head around the game was wanting to be as close as possible until the very end. And he says, for the most part, that's exactly what happened. And he says every time he would see one of his team score, he would think, okay, come on now. The other team has to hurry up and score. And he goes, imagine watching a game and desperately wanting both teams to score. So he was happy the way it ended. He kind of, he talked about he was just hoping for a good competitive game. And so he was happy with that. And then as far as he was concerned, the penalty was not that big a deal once Bradbury kind of confessed to it. So
I agree. I
think you and I are kind of the same side. We wish it wouldn't have been called. We're not arguing that it's not a penalty. In the rule book, it's a penalty. Just do you make that call at the time of a game where I've seen other games end, where guys are mugged. Remember that game a few years ago where the Vikings beat the Saints in overtime, and they pretty much were afraid to interfere with the receivers, so they tried to knock the ball down and missed, and that kid caught the ball and ran all the way baback for an overtime for the Vikings.
Yeah.
In the playoffs.
Marcus Williams, dove into Stephon Diggs for no reason.
Yeah, so
and then you because that's the thing when you make the call and when you're not, because in the NFC Championship game with I don't want to talk about this because it's overdone now, but the Rams pass interference against the Saints, they didn't call it when it was egregious.
Oh yeah,
that's
what I mean. There's no consistency.
There's a difference between being egregious. So and then I'll make an NBA comparison because I like the NBA. If it's a late game, do they call a foul on the last shot if there's a little contact? No, because they're playing defense and you don't want to give the guy pretty much a free throw to win the game.
Yeah.
So it depends on the situations when you call it. So it's the hard part being a ref. You don't know if it's egregious enough to call it or not to call it. So you give them the benefit of the doubt.
A lot of their takes are, well, if it's a penalty in the first quarter, it's a penalty in the fourth quarter. Well, yeah, but like I said, you're deciding the game. That ref, when he threw that flag, he's deciding the game. And it's hard because you have 8 different people out there seeing the game. And sometimes you'll see a guy whose job is to watch that play at that position, not throw a flag. But then somebody who's way down the field, that's not really responsible specifically for that play, will throw a flag. And that's what's maddening, because the guy that's right there doesn't throw it, but then some guy who's all the way down the field will throw the flag. And if it's a penalty like that, you would hope the refs get together and would all discuss it, and say, well, what did you see? And is this a penalty? Blah, blah, blah. But that's neither here nor there now. The game's over. It got called, and the Chiefs won. So props to the Chiefs for winning the Super Bowl, and they had a big parade and everything. And
Patrick Mahomes almost gave the trophy to a fan.
Yeah.
And walked away.
So,
but he was so drunk.
Yeah. So,
did you see the video of him in the porta potty?
No.
Well, not in the porta potty, but Mahomes was in the porta potty, and he came out, and everyone started cheering. He was like, yeah! When he came out, he was like, yeah. They were happy when he came out.
He's just a regular guy. He uses the porta potty like every other red-blood American.
Yeah, but everyone's saying he's the top 5 quarterback of all time now.
Yeah, I've already seen the stats where they're putting him up against Brady or whatever. I'm like, well, just slow your roll. He's had good success, but, Brady's, sustained that, over a long career. So
it's okay. He hasn't passed Aaron Rodgers yet.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's
some people off
it's
with
a good
that.
combination. Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, work together well, and they got some good pieces around them. So, but another factor of the game I did want to mention is the field conditions and all the issues they had with the field conditions.
Turf sucks.
The NFL. This is your marquee game of the year. It's your Daytona 500. It's your Indianapolis 500. You can't have those field conditions like that. Something's going to happen after halftime when they have the big show and all those people out there on the field. That's gonna cause some issues. But you just having guys out there slipping and sliding all over the field, you never know what play could have happened or might have happened. I mean, you can always say what if or whatever, but that's affecting the play of the game and results of the game. You got to be better than that, NFL. That was crap. And if the guys can't play on the painted surfaces, you need to come up with some other way to apply that stuff to the field or what have you. And the Eagles, you did see the pictures of all the cleats stacked up on the sideline and the Eagles changing, to longer cleats, which did help. But that took away from the enjoyment of the game because you saw it on both sides. Guys would try to cut and they just would lose their balance. And they're lucky that somebody didn't get hurt because of one of those, times where somebody lost their balance or slipped. And it affected the gameplay and a lot of the enjoyment of the game to me as well.
Yeah. So, people have been talking about turf and getting rid of it forever. Need to go to like grass or vice versa. I don't remember which one I'm discussing.
Well, I think it was Travis Kelce said, the game needs to be played on natural surface. Well,
yeah.
The natural surface was fine, I guess, but that's the problem when they try to, hey, we're going to plant new grass for the Super Bowl, so it's all nice and I'm not a horticulturist or anything, but I don't know how. It usually
that means.
Yeah, it usually takes grass a while to grow and get its root system, whatever. And you have these 500-pound guys, or not 300-pound guys, out there running around.
Fat.
Yeah, I know. Boom. In the cleats and tearing that ground up, it's not gonna hold up. And then you put paint all over it on top of it. It's just, I don't know. They need to come up with something else. And I know they got to have their advertisers and because they get all that money from those people to put those logos and stuff on the field, but they just got to do something because that's your marquee matchup of the year. That's when you're getting the most eyeballs to advertise your sport, and then to have that to happen, it's just it was a bad look.
All right, well, yeah, Super Bowl.
Yeah. Anything else on the Super Bowl itself?
No. Congrats to the Chiefs. I don't know who Travis Kelce was talking about when they said no one thought they were going to make the playoffs.
Oh yeah, I rolled my eyes on that one.
No one said that.
They were like one of the top 3-4 favorites going into the season to go back to the Super Bowl. I don't know what the hell he was talking about.
I'm shutting up all the haters. I agree with that, but no one thought you guys weren't going to make the playoffs. We all knew you would. We all picked you to at least win your division. Well, maybe not the division because the division's supposed to be good this year. Rebuilding maybe because Tyreek Hill is gone. They need to fix up their offense a little bit, weaponry, but Mahomes showed, doesn't matter. I'm Mahomes, it doesn't matter. So, yeah, shout out to them, I guess. Eagles, though, I think I want to talk about the Eagles a little bit because, yes, they made the Super Bowl. Yes, Jalen Hurts looks like the man. Shout out to Jalen Hurts. He deserves a round of applause, especially for all the crap he was getting about how you don't actually got to give a round of applause.
Oh, I thought you were telling me to give a round of applause. No,
I wasn't telling you to do that.
My bad.
I'm just saying, metaphorically, I guess, give him a round of applause because he played really well. Thanks for listening to Fast Intentions. No, but yeah, he's getting a lot of crap saying, well, anyone could be the quarterback for the Eagles when they got this much weapons, blah, 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 blah. Well, Jalen Hurts played a great game. The fumble, we don't need to talk about that part. Because I posted something on Facebook. Man, Jalen Hurts looks like a beast, and then he fumbled and Chiefs ran for a touchdown. I said, well, I'm not going to tweet anything else about Jalen Hurts because that was bad timing. But no, he showed that he's going to be the franchise guy going forward. I said it. Jalen Hurts is going to be the quarterback, and he's due for the extension.
I've done a total 360 on my opinion of Jalen Hurts.
A total 360, so you're still going the same way.
No, I did 180. I wasn't a big fan of him, but he proved me wrong, and I was very impressed with him, and he's got a very calm demeanor, and he doesn't get too up or down. And so,
he played a great game. He deserves a lot of credit.
Very much
the only nervous thing about the Eagles is all the stuff going on with them now, because someone made a good tweet. I don't remember who it was, but I just wrote down all their notes. The Eagles got a lot of free agents coming up this year. a lot of good players on their team, and they're already over the salary cap. And they have to sign Jalen Hurts to an extension now because he has 1 year left. And their offensive coordinator and their defensive coordinator are now head coaches elsewhere. So
I saw that.
Shane Steichen is the offensive coordinator. I think Steichen's how you say his last name. He's the coach for the Colts now.
It's one of my favorite breakfasts, Steichen and eggs.
Yeah, and then Jonathan Gann is the coach for the Cardinals now. So that's 2 coordinators gone right there because of how successful they were. And I have a list of all their free agents. Would you like to hear who's going to be a free agent for the Eagles this year?
Sure.
Fletcher Cox.
Good player.
Brandon Graham.
Good player. All defensive line so far.
C.J. Gardner-Johnson.
Okay.
Javon Hargrave.
Former Steeler.
Jason Kelce.
Oh, yeah. There's talk he's going to take the offseason, but there's talk he might retire.
So James Bradbury. I don't know.
Hold up.
Yeah, I get you.
Sorry.
You were just versus Juju, man. You want to talk about that or no?
What?
The Juju tweet?
No.
Okay.
I'll just say that was the kind of shit he would do in Pittsburgh, and it kind of got him in trouble. And I think that's part of the reason he didn't stay in Pittsburgh. But continue.
To be honest, I didn't really care that much. AJ Brown went at him because he tweeted it, and Juju was okay with that. He's okay with it. That's all to say it is. TJ Edwards. Robert Quinn, Ndamukong Suh, Linville Joseph, Miles Sanders, Kazir White, and Isaac Sumalo. I don't know who that is. Who's Isaac Sumalo?
I believe he's defensive back. Maybe?
Well, I'm sorry to Isaac Sumalo. I don't
me.
know who you are.
Sorry, Isaac.
But yeah. So those are all the free
The
agents.
only Isaac I know was the bartender on a Love Boat.
Okay.
That's a throwback reference to people in their 50s or older.
Yeah, thanks. Shout out to them.
That's why we're generational. Tagline.
Yeah.
Alert. Boop, boop, boop.
Shut up. We don't use it.
Okay.
So, yeah. And they're already over the cap, and they got to sign Jalen Hurts to a deal now because I think he proved that he's a franchise guy. So, if the Eagles wanted to win it, this was probably their chance to do it.
Yeah.
Because they're going to have to – a lot of signing bonuses are going to be coming out soon, all these transfers. Green Bay just did it with Aaron Jones.
I saw
transferred
that.
like $8 million to his signing
Swiss bank
bonus.
account.
So, because he wants to be a Packer. Shout out
good.
to him.
Good for him.
Him and Jordan Love are going to take over the world next year.
Nice.
Because there's reports that Green Bay is upset and they're ready to move on.
Not if Pickett and Harris have anything to say.
But Aaron Rodgers can't hear this because he's sitting in his house with no power right now.
Hey, side note, the Packers play in Pittsburgh this year.
I know.
We might try to make our way out there. Maybe.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Jordan Love versus Kenny Pickett.
That's right.
And whoever we want to take that wide receiver from Ohio State. That Jackson isn't like Jackson something Smith or whatever his name is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, come to Green Bay. We love you. Or we take a tight end too. I wouldn't mind a tight end, but we can always use defensive line help because that defensive line always sucks. Or safety, or another edge rusher. We can take one of those, or an offensive lineman.
There's your obligatory Packer talk. You
Damn
want to
straight.
dish on the Broncos in this episode real quick?
No, we don't. I have nothing about the Broncos this week.
Oh, dang it.
So yeah, if the Eagles wanted to win the Super Bowl, that was kind of their best opportunity to do it with all those guys there. But they're still talented enough where they can definitely fix some things up. But
yeah.
we'll have to see how they manage their cap situation. The last thing I had about the NFL was Derek Carr.
Okay.
Kind of the mutter down the talks here about the Super Bowl.
Well, I have
Carr.
something. I have news about an NFL quarterback, but you go ahead and
I see it because I also thought about talking about that too.
Okay.
Well, Derek Carr, we all know the Raiders want to move on. They brought his best friend to come play with him, and then they said, screw you. We don't need you anymore. We'd rather have someone else.
Oh, plus they didn't want to pay him $40 million.
Yes, exactly. Even though I like Derek Carr. He's a good quarterback. Maybe not worth $40 million, but a good player. Well, the Raiders wanted to try and trade him to get something for him. Otherwise, they'd have to release him by whatever that day was last week.
February
something.
15th or
something like that.
Yeah.
They'd have that $40 million would kick in. So apparently they had a deal with the Saints kind of figured out. And Derek Carr declined the trade. He said, "Nah, I don't want to go to the Saints." And then he
said, "I don't want to be traded to the Saints."
Yeah, but I think he said he didn't want to. He wouldn't accept any trade anywhere.
Yeah.
And so they had to release him, and so they didn't get nothing for Derek Carr.
Well, good for him. I mean, he forced their hand, and because that way he has control over where he. Excuse me. That Pete Pepsi's coming back on me.
Yeah.
He has control over where he ends up. He's not getting traded to a team, and then he doesn't have a choice.
Well, in fairness, he did because he had a no trade clause. But I don't blame Derek Carr for doing it at all. I heard someone I saw someone on Facebook was like, blah, 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 Derek Carr, what an asshole. So I said, no, you guys are the asshole for saying, yeah, we're going to release you, Derek Carr, because you're not worth $40 million, even though we just signed you to this extension like a year ago, and we want to move on from you. We don't think you're good enough for us to compete for the Super Bowl. So Derek Carr said, all right, fuck you. I'm not going to help you guys out. You guys
was that a quote?
Probably what he's thinking. Why would I let you go to Saints to get draft capital for me? He said, fuck you. I'll just release me and let me go do whatever I want. So shout out to Derek Carr. Fuck the Raiders.
Wow.
Well, I don't care about the Raiders that much, but that's what Derek Carr was thinking.
All right.
That's if we have a most liked moment of the week section, that'd be mine. Derek Carr saying, "Screw you, Raiders. You don't get nothing from me."
Well, it's being reported that free agent to be quarterback Daniel Jones of the Giants wants more money than New York has offered him previously, and he's talking as possibly as much as $45 million per year, which is equal to or more than the Chiefs' Patrick Mahomes and the Bills' Josh Allen makes.
Yeah. Shout out Daniel Jones.
We did refer to this a while back, and we talked about whether or not he was one of the elite quarterbacks in the league, and that's a big fat no. I mean,
elite, no.
He's a good average starter in the league, and he seems to be improving every year, but is he worth being the most highly paid quarterback in the league?
No.
Not at all.
No. Daniel Jones definitely earned himself another stint with the Giants at least to continue on and keep developing that team because Brian Dable and them had great success this year, especially with Saquon Barkley being healthy. I think he deserves another shot. The Giants need more weapons offensively for him to throw to, because he's a good quarterback in the pass and the run game. He doesn't look like he's a dual threat quarterback, but he's a good dual threat quarterback. So he deserves to be extended or something. Maybe not for $45 million a year. So if he decides to go free agent, we'll see how many offers he gets before he's like, maybe I will accept an extension with the Giants. So we'll see. Shout out Daniel Jones, though. I mean, everyone should try and go get their money, but sometimes you got to be a little realistic about it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I guess you ask for pie in the sky and then work down from there. So
we'll see. A lot of quarterbacks. Derek Carr needs a new home. Lamar Jackson may need a new home. Daniel Jones may need a new home.
Yeah,
Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be gone.
Yeah, not
Aaron
to mention
Rodgers
your buddy Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. So, you did mention the offensive defense and defensive coordinators. Man, I can't talk today. From the Eagles getting new jobs, but I did want to touch on the Eric Bieniemy situation a little bit.
Yes.
And get your opinion. He got no coaching offers, and just a couple of days ago, he accepted the offensive coordinator and assistant head coach role with the Washington Commanders. Now, I wanted to get your opinion. I don't think this is racially motivated. I don't think he's not getting a job because he's a black coach. I think it's because he's under the tutelage of Andy Reid, and he's not getting enough credit as a play caller or coordinating the offense, as the title assumes. So I think that's part of the reason is Andy Reid gets a lot of the credit for the offensive game planning and the Chiefs, and Bieniemy is just like a figurehead that's there and he's not really inputting or giving so much as the game plan as other teams might think.
Well, I would ask you this rhetorical question back.
Okay.
Patrick Mahomes, maybe an all-time great quarterback, right? Who coaches in New England?
Bill Belichick.
Bill Belichick, right? And what did they have? An elite all-time, the greatest quarterback of all time, Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
And they have offensive and defensive coordinators over there.
Mm-hmm.
And they seem to be getting head coaching jobs all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So why would that necessarily apply to those white coordinators and then not to Eric Bieniemy, who happens to be black too? It's kind of the same thing. Well, the Patriots coordinators get head coaching jobs, but for some reason Eric Bieniemy can't.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not in the room, obviously, when Eric Bieniemy's talking or giving these interviews. I don't know if he's saying bad things or whatever. But it just seems Patrick Mahomes raved about him. Everyone in the Chiefs organization seems to love the guy, but he can't get a head coaching job. It's kind of weird. So I guess he feels he necessarily has to go prove, it's not just Patrick Mahomes. I could be good because he's going to Washington now to go be the offensive coordinator. Sorry to spoil the news if that's what you were getting to.
But, no, I mentioned that.
No. So, did you? I usually don't pay attention to what you say.
You know what?
I don't pay attention to what you say.
You know what?
All right, shut up. But no, so could it be racially motivated? I don't know, but it's just you never want to assume nothing. But it is weird that a guy with a great offensive mind like him can't seem to get a head coaching job. Because even then, someone like Brian Flores, he couldn't get a job when he got.
Well, he had a job, but they
For some
let
reason
him go.
he got fired for no reason.
Now he's the Vikings defensive coordinator.
Which
So.
sucks because that's a great hire. Son of a bitch.
I do have a quote from Mike Tomlin talking about Eric Bieniemy. This is from 2021, but he says, Bieniemy is a real head scratcher for me. Every offensive coordinator Andy Reid has had in the last 20 years has got a head job. One of those guys, Brad Childress, hired me in Minnesota in 2006. Now Andy has the best offense he's ever had, and Bieniemy can't get a job. ?
See, yeah, it's just weird. It's like because you get that's a good argument that Andy Reid, he is a great coach. Maybe but it's not like Bill's doing the same thing over there in New England. Patricia got a job, McDaniels got a job. He sucked. He went back, and then he got another job. So I mean, it is weird. So you never want to assume that someone's racist, but there's a lot of racism in the world.
Where was McDaniels' first job? What team did he coach?
Denver, right?
There you go, Lisa. There's your obligatory Denver reference. You're welcome.
Fuck, I didn't even think about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, McDaniels is a coach now. So,
yeah.
So, shout out Eric Bieniemy. He needs a job, my man. Now he's got to suffer over there in Washington.
Well, sometimes it's like players. Sometimes they change the scenery. If he goes over there and the Washington Commander offense, improves, and they need a quarterback though. They're still,
The Carson Wentz experience is not working anywhere he goes.
Sorry,
Carson Wentz.
I think Taylor Heineke is a serviceable quarterback. I think he actually be pretty decent. So we'll see.
They were decent when he was there.
Yeah, I expect them to maybe draft a quarterback this year, and maybe not first round, but I'd assume maybe the top 3 rounds they end up with a quarterback somewhere there.
We'll see. It's because the top guys will go, and then if they don't feel comfortable, I think it's kind of the same thing in Seattle. If they don't feel comfortable, Taylor Heineke could definitely. It's Taylor, right? Taylor Heineke.
Mm-hmm.
Some reason I was going to say Tyler Heineke, but that's not right. Taylor Heineke, I think he's serviceable enough to get you through a year, just like Geno is. So if the Seahawks don't get a quarterback, Geno can just step in and keep going.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
All right. We'll stay with the quarterback theme a little bit here. There is talk that their NFL is thinking about banning the quarterback sneak push, where they try to sneak the ball and the player from behind comes up and kind of pushes him through the pile.
Jalen Hurts was like 8 for 8 in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that play was unstoppable. I couldn't believe how well they played that. But
should have just ran every play.
There's a famous clip of the Steelers doing this, and I think it was maybe against the Ravens or something. He had a quarterback sneak.
Obligatory Steelers talk.
Yes, and Pickett went into line, but kind of got stuck, and so Najee Harris kind of came behind and kind of grabbed him by the hips and kind of pulled him off to the side and kind of where there was a little bit of a gap and kind of pushed him up through there so they could get a first down. And it was a Sunday night game because they showed the replay, and Chris Collinsworth was like kind of laughing about it. But yeah.
Now there's a guy.
I don't know. I'm kind of torn on this penalty. I think the ball should be moved by the guy with the ball. He should be the one, moving the ball forward with the blockers ahead of him, not the blockers behind him or the pushers behind him. It's like where you get this play and like a couple defensive guys have an offensive guy stop, but all of a sudden all these other guys come from the offensive side and start pushing them forward. Well, of course, it depends on how many are on one side. If you got 5 guys pushing the running back where 2 guys trying to stop him, of course, that's an advantage to the offense, and the guy's going to go forward as long as he can keep his feet. And I've never liked those type of plays because that's just the guys that happen to be in that vicinity are outnumbering the guys on the defense, at that point, or vice versa, I guess. And so, of course,
can't stack the box because then that could
the play result's gonna be based on who's got more guys. It's like tug of war, If you got 5 guys on your side and 2 on the other, well, the team with the 5 is gonna pretty much win.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm kind of in favor of them doing away with this rule. I mean, so.
I could see it. Yeah, because Jalen Hurts was unstoppable. It was just boom, first down. Because he would be there and he would just kind of go right over everyone because they would just push him ahead. So yeah, I can see the issue with that.
Low man wins on those quarterback sneaks. I remember them showing a close up of one of those sneaks, and the Eagles guys got way low and got underneath the Chiefs defensive line, just pushed them back because they couldn't keep their feet, and then Jalen just needed to just hop over the pile. I mean, it was pretty easy pickings for him there.
Yeah.
So for guys that big to get that low to the ground and then still be able to move other people that are at the same size, was pretty impressive.
Yeah. All right.
Did you want to talk about any of the Super Bowl commercials? Any of those that stood out to you or that you remember?
Not really. I did want to say, was it the T-Mobile one, the Grease one? Was that the one where they were doing?
John Travolta?
Yeah.
And the guy from Scrubs?
Well, no, it was funny because I was like, oh, they're doing a Grease commercial. What's John Travolta? It took me forever to realize the bald guy was John Travolta because it just didn't look like him.
Yeah.
And then my friend made a comment like, is that John Travolta? Because I was like, oh, when's he coming in? And I'm like, oh, shit, that is John Travolta. So shout out to John Travolta. Doesn't look like him anymore.
Yeah, there was a couple that stood out to me. The one with all the E-Trade babies, that was a famous commercial from years back. Years ago they brought back. That was pretty funny. I enjoyed the one where Ben Affleck was working at Dunkin' Donuts, and J-Lo pulls up and goes, "Is this where you go all day when you say you're going to work?" And she's like giving him the right eye. He goes, "I gotta go." So that was pretty funny. And then I think they had one that was for Paramount Plus or something. They had Dora the Explorer and all these people. Well, then all of a sudden they're talking about Stallone Mountain, and Sylvester Stallone's trying to climb up Stallone Mountain. All of a sudden the mountain, it's got a face that looks like Sylvester Stallone, and all of a sudden it's going to sneeze, and he's like, "Oh, achoo!" And then they show Sylvester Stallone falling and down on the ground in the big pile of snow. And
you would like that one because you're a Sylvester Stallone fan.
Well, yeah, but I just thought it was kind of funny, Stallone Mountain.
No, I thought most of the commercials were kind of stupid. I don't know.
Well, I was sitting there watching it with my girlfriend, and I think the average cost of a Super Bowl commercial was like $7 million for 30 seconds, and I thought that wasn't worth $7 million. There were several of those. I thought, whatever. And then there was a funny one. It was a beer commercial where they were fighting back and forth and tearing up this bar. Then it turned out they were talking about Miller Lite and Bud Light, I think, and then it turned out to be a Blue Moon commercial. So that was kind of creative advertising.
No,
but
I don't know. They all seem so overproduced now, and so like,
yeah.
oh, it's a Super Bowl commercial. They're just not like funny anymore.
Yeah,
like everyone's got to have a stupid celebrity in it. It's like, oh, Bradley Cooper and his mom making jokes. Like, who the hell cares? I like Bradley Cooper, but I don't care about him and his mom making dumb insults back and forth. It's like, and then Ben Affleck's working at Dunkin' Donuts with Jennifer Lopez. Oh, Serena Williams is talking, saying some inspirational thing. Cool.
Well, it was every given Sunday she was doing that speech, and I just
it's all like overproduced.
And then they had to take on Tony Romo with Caddyshack. That was pretty lame.
No.
So yeah, there was a lot of them I just thought,
they're all overproduced. They all have to be inspirational or have to have a celebrity in it. It's just like, why can't they just be funny anymore?
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine. The only celebrity thing I was like Breaking Bad, and they had that, but they didn't even show the full commercial. They had like a shortened version.
Yeah. Last take on Super Bowl impressions of Rihanna halftime show. Turns out she was pregnant. So, you have a take, or I was impressed with the show. I like the platforms, the different platforms adjusting height and whatever, and down and up. And
when they were showing Rihanna in the last scene, it was like shaking. I was like, fuck, I'm not staying on
well,
that
she was.
thing.
You could see she had a strap. She was strapped down to
Did
the
those
platform.
Marshmallow Men have straps on too when they were dancing up there?
Yeah, I enjoyed the dance. I thought the dancing was pretty decent. They coordinated. Of course, they didn't have her doing a lot, but they had her down on the ground walking through, and the dancers or whatever. Now I did see some politician, compared it to the devil coming back to earth and the archangels, and I'm like, boy, I didn't analyze it like that.
You need to look up the video of the lady talking about the Monster Energy.
Okay.
At the convention, she was talking about how all these signs meant the devil, and it was really funny.
I don't.
But no. I mean, it wasn't like overproduced too. Like, I guess the dancing and stuff was really in the platforms, but like it wasn't like that big of a set. She was a really good singer, and I like all her songs. So I'm jamming out.
Good singer, good eye candy. She's a beautiful lady, and I think the costumes were decent. I didn't have a problem with their costumes, and I think the platforms kind of added the dynamic part to the show because herself couldn't do the dynamic stuff. So, and they talk about how they always have a surprise singers or two pop out. Well, she didn't have any of that.
Yeah, Drake was supposed to be there. What the hell?
Well, I didn't hear about that, but one guy who tweeted says, "I kept waiting for the surprise singer to come up, and he never did."
Well, Jay-Z, because Jay-Z was there with his kid. He was supposed to come in for a Run This Town.
No,
but he never did.
Ran the other way.
And Drake didn't come out for work. What the hell? No, it's okay. Rihanna, it's fine.
So yeah, it was a.
Is the eye candy thing a big factor in your decision of a halftime show?
Well,
just because that was just an old man thing for you to say. Talk about she's pretty. If she was ugly, would you still enjoy it?
I know. I'm just saying that it helps.
I know. I'm just messing with
Keep
you.
the eyeballs.
It's okay.
So
Now Rihanna's a good looking lady,
Mhm.
but it didn't matter because those pipes.
after the halftime show, I heard she went back to the producer and said, "Bitch, where's my money?"
Bitch better have my money.
Oh,
That's
that
what
too.
she said.
I'm sorry, man. I misquoted her.
And then he said, "Why would I give you that?" She said, "Work, work, work, work,
Yeah.
work."
All right.
But no, shine bright like a diamond in the sky at the end.
Shine
I said
bright like a
that's what
diamond.
she's going to end it on that.
That was a good one. Good call on you.
Well, I didn't say it to anyone, but
Oh.
I just thought it.
No.
All right, well, we didn't have much to talk about, but we got through it. Do you have much to talk about in the Nuggets section?
I have a couple little things here and there.
I have two, because one of them, we talked about the All-Star game too early. But I was just going to say, kind of recap it real quick, but I already did.
Well, you want to hit the ignition switch?
Sure. All right, so my first nugget, I mentioned it earlier, the XFL's back.
Yes.
Did you see, and do you remember, what team am I a fan of? Were you paying attention to what I said?
The St. Louis team.
Yeah, what's their nickname?
The Skyhawks.
No, the Battlehawks.
Something.
Well, they're playing San Antonio Brahmas.
Brahmas. That's a bowl. A Brahma bowl.
No, I know.
Oh, okay.
That's what The Rock called himself, the Brahma Bowl.
Oh, does Rock own that team?
He owns the whole damn league.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But does he have a stake in the ownership of one of the teams?
I have no idea.
Okay.
But anyways, talk about the XFL and how exciting it is. Did you see how that game went?
I watched a little bit of it, as I mentioned.
Okay,
You
so
mentioned
they were
it
down
originally.
There's 3 minutes left in the game, and they were down 15-3 after San Antonio hit a field goal. So they get the ball, they go down the field, and they go down for a touchdown. And then in the XFL, you could do a 2-point, I think it's a 2-point, a 3-point, or a 4-point conversion, depending on how far back you go.
Oh, okay.
Either that's like a 1, 2, or 3. It's been a while. I remember looking up all the rules 3 years ago when they came back. But no, so they went for the 3-point conversion so that they can make it like a 15-12 game.
So what's the distance on a 3-point conversion?
They're at the 10-yard line.
What's the 4-point would be?
Probably 15,
Okay.
I would assume.
Okay.
And so they made it. So they got 3 points. And then in the XFL, they don't have onside kicks either. They start at their own 20, and they get a 4th and 15. If they convert the 4th and 15, they get the ball from wherever they converted. Well, they converted that too.
Oh, wow.
And so that was with like a minute or so left. And so then they went down and scored. So with 10 seconds left, they were down 15-3 with 3 minutes left. They won the game 18-15. They scored with like 12 seconds left. So shout out to the St. Louis Battlehawks, my team, and a great comeback to start.
Did the Brahmas play zone defense or coverage defense, or did they try to pressure them?
It was a zone because on the 4th and 15, there was like a guy, he was wide open on the sideline. He was just kind of waiting there, and he caught it. And then,
now, on that play, is it just the 15 yards, or can you actually score on? If you happen to score, it would count.
The rules, but no.
Okay.
But no. But he caught it and went out of bounds, so that's kind of how it went.
Okay.
I'm not necessarily sure how it goes.
Okay.
But no, they converted it and got it. And they came back and won. So shout out to the XFL for having exciting football.
Nice.
We'll see how long it lasts this time.
Yeah.
They made it 1 year once. They made it 3 weeks next. Now we'll see how long it goes now. Maybe we'll get to a second year.
All right. Well, my first nugget is
Nugget.
Nougat.
My first nugget.
Yes. We'll cut that out too.
Nope, we'll keep it in.
Hey. You always keep what I misspeak. I'm going to give a shout out to Anthony Edwards from the NBA. The Timberwolves. He played with the Timberwolves, didn't he? Doesn't he?
Yes. Look at that coming with the NBA news.
I know.
What did he do?
He was talking about he spoke out on NBA players missing games. He's like, all the guys sitting, resting, just play, man. These people might have enough money to come see one game, and that might be the game they come to, and you're sitting out. So props to him. That's I wish everybody in the NBA had that attitude. I know some of them older guys say, well, I need time off, I need a break to rest and recharge. But like you said, a lot of people go to a game, and that might be the one game they go to, and they. Not everybody, all the fans are local of a team. Some people, travel. Like you're a fan of the Red Sox. You can't just readily go to see a Red Sox game. I mean, if you go to the game and let's say, Big Papi was supposed to play, but he sat out that game, you'd be disappointed because Big Papi is basically the whole reason you're a Red Sox fan. So I get it, and I just want to shout out to him because that's what a lot of the fans think, and he's like, if you can play, why wouldn't you be out there? So,
Big Papi is the reason I'm a Red Sox fan.
well, I know that's why I said that.
Yeah, and we said pretty much, but he is.
Well,
I'm
that's
just giving you shit.
That's just a phrase.
I don't remember why I'm a Packer fan now. That just kind of happened. And then I only like the Celtics because they're in Boston. And I just like the Penguins because you liked them.
Yeah, it's the only team that we have in common that
But
way.
I don't even follow hockey, so that's how much I care about it. Okay, so the NBA All-Star Weekend was my second nugget, but now we already talked about it, so I can't talk about it again. So
Well, you could, but
we talked about Kevin.
redundant.
We talked about Kevin Love
Yes, we did.
getting bought out by the Cleveland
And Russell
Cavaliers.
Westbrook.
Yes, but Kevin Love will get his number 0 retired by the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Well, they will?
Yep.
No, good for him.
So shout out to Kevin Love.
Yeah.
Definitely helped LeBron win his championship in Cleveland.
Definitely.
The big three. Every time there's a big three, there's usually one that takes a step back. It was Kevin Love. But then he stayed with Cleveland. He wanted out, but he stayed around. Now they got a good team. But then they bought him out anyways because he kind of fell out of rotation because they got a lot of good players now. So shout out to Kevin Love. He probably won't do a whole lot in Miami, but I wish him the best of luck. Shout out to him. He had a great career, especially with the Timberwolves. He was a beast.
I do want to mention real quick a meme I saw. It was a meme of the bus the Chiefs were riding on to celebrate the World Championship. But instead of the Chiefs players, they had all the referees on top of the bus. And I'm not saying that, that.
No, that's what you're saying.
You're
saying the referees hand the
games are
Chiefs
rigged.
win.
The games are rigged or anything, but that made me laugh. I just I see certain memes like that. It just makes me laugh. I'll actually share it on the F Intentions Pod Twitter page.
How long do you think until people get tired of Patrick Mahomes and think of him like a Tom Brady?
I think it's already starting to happen.
I mean,
It's already started to happen this year.
I don't really hate Patrick.
I don't mind Patrick too much. His wife's kind of annoying. She's always jumping on Twitter to defend him if somebody says something bad about him. And then Travis Kelce's WWE persona he tries to throw out there and uses the word jabroni and stuff like that and saying he's not getting respected and stuff. I'm just like, this guy's working for a WWE gig after he retires. But, hey, apparently it's working because he's hosting Saturday Night Live this weekend. So tune in to see Travis host Saturday Night Live if you're a big Travis Kelce or Chiefs fan.
You know what this is called? It's called charisma. Travis Kelce's just got a lot of charisma. And he's a good football player. He can back it up. So shout out to Travis Kelce. If he sucked, it'd be different.
He's a characterization of himself, really.
And then Brittany Mahomes, I don't really care.
Yeah,
she can tweet whatever she wants.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes' brother and all his TikToks are kind of annoying. Jackson.
Well, we have a segment called the Eyebrow Raiser. This is our segment called Eye Roller. Some of these people are just like, oh, God.
No, some people are kind of annoying.
Yeah.
It's like when Kate Upton was tweeting about Joseph Verlander and he didn't want to say, oh, my God, it's rigged, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And this is like, oh, shut up.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you defend your husband, cool. But, like, yeah, we don't care.
Well, tell the good folks where they can find the show, Nathan.
Why are you, like, telling me what to do? Maybe I don't want to tell the fans.
Please.
Yeah, they can listen to our show on Anchor, Spotify, or YouTube. Or they can go follow our page on F Intentions Pod on Twitter. Or they can like and subscribe and comment on the YouTube and rate us 5 stars on Spotify. I don't care. Or if you listen to us on Anchor, I think there's an ad so we get, like, money or something. I don't know.
Fine, don't tell the people.
All right.
Well, that's it for the Tommy Frazier episode. We love you.
Yeah.
Drink the Roulade.
Or what number is
Peace out.
What the hell? I wasn't done.